Just where did things stand for Brian Rust?
The same as yesterday. He was at illness, so yeah.
Is there any risk regarding tomorrow's game at all, or is that still up in the air?
No, I mean, you always take things a day at a time, but yeah, the expectation is, we'll see where things are at as we get through today. But no, I mean, I'm thinking that he'll be back, and that's the plan. Yeah.
Looked like Tristan Jarry ramped it up pretty good today. Do you anticipate him being available? I'm not asking for the starter, but do you anticipate him being at least available for your lineup tomorrow?
Yeah, I think we're still in that continuing to just look at it each day. You know, you come off the ice, there needs to be some conversations. I think he's progressing very well, and so I would expect that he's going to be available here for us tomorrow. Like he's had some really good days. I think he's looked good. It's nice that we've actually been able to have some team practices too, the way we have. So there's sometimes in the year where you're not able to get a lot. You're not able to see a ton. They're really quick practices, and I think especially for the goalies, it's hard to replicate a real team practice with just a couple shooters. But no, I think he's had some really good days. He looks good, and so that's the expectation, is that he's going to be available here.
Koivu and Doug Weinrush, do you expect him to be available tomorrow?
Yeah, another one. I still want to have a little bit of follow up there, but I thought he looked good out there. Another step, same thing. It was the benefit of having a couple of good days of practice like this. For guys that are coming back to be able to get a little bit more than maybe they would at other points in the year.
You made a Village season so far. I mean, obviously went to Wilkes for a little bit there, on the IR for a little bit there. When he's been on the ice, what have you liked? What would you like to see him maybe spruce up?
Yeah, I think since coming back, if you look at the areas he's getting to offensively, there have been a lot of chances. So now I think it's like, all right, well, how do we take that next step? How can he take that next step and turn some of those scoring chances into whether it's goals or plays that are leading to goals, and helping to create their offense there 5-on-5. So I think it's continuing to just work with him in those areas of the ice. Putting himself in a position offensively to be able to either be a part of creating chances there or getting chances there offensively. But obviously with taking that next step as well. But I think that has definitely improved even from early on till recently before he got hurt. Each game we're looking at it, and he's finding those areas a lot more, and that's the biggest part. It's finding that, making sure, because he's putting himself in some areas that it is hard to get to, and so that's what we want to look at, what we want to see. And then I think defensively too. I think he's a guy who he has been working at it. Working at the defensive side, working on some of those details that I think it just sometimes takes time in the league. But he has shown a willingness to work on them, and he's shown that the things that we talk about, he goes out there and works to apply.
Okay. Dan, if and when Tristan Brose plays, he'll be your 9th rookie in the lineup this season. Is there a thing where you maybe make the game simpler for a rookie making his first or second start, or you just throw a kid like Tristan into the deep end and let him go?
Well, I mean, when you get an opportunity like this, it's because we feel like you're ready for it too. So I don't think it's totally throwing him into the deep end. I thought he... Again, it goes back to that. I thought he had a good training camp. He did a lot of good things. He earned a really good impression. I remember, he left here thinking if he goes to Wilkes and builds on his game, like he's going to be a guy who we're going to see here at some point, I would assume. And, I think when we do, I'm going to be really excited for him and, to see him here. And so I think it's when you're playing, going into your first game, I think the biggest thing is you got to go play. You don't need to overthink things. You don't need to be, you can't be fearful of anything, of making a mistake. Like everybody on the ice, is going to make a mistake. That's just a reality of our game. And so you just got to focus in on those things that got you here. You got to focus in on the things that have led to success in Wilkes, and just go out there and apply those. And so I'm excited for him. He'll be in tomorrow night. So it'll be a great opportunity there for him, and it's well earned.
What have you seen from Sergei in his time with the Penguins, and what will be the plan for him moving forward with Arturs and Tristan both healthy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go into full plan right now or any of that. Like, I think it's we just got off the ice from practice, and we're continuing to have conversations. And but what have I seen from him? I think he's He's extremely prepared. He's extreme competitor. I love his day to day, like and even going back there to seeing him, being around him. When he came in for training camp, and just so the way he competes every day in practice. The preparation that he has just all the time. I think for a younger player, it's really impressive to see, and so. I think he's been very consistent in showing those traits, and between the off-ice preparation, the on-ice competitiveness, and then obviously he's somebody too who's got a lot of technical skill, and so he's been pretty consistent in showing those things, those qualities.
You guys play a lot of games in the next month, and you're beginning to see the locker room just populated with more and more young talent, youth guys. Just does that help when you play a lot of games in a short stretch like that to just have fresh energy, fresh legs in those youth guys?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, there's a mix here though, so I think it's both. I think that you get some. We need the young guys driving the energy, but you know what? We need the veterans driving the energy, and I think it's a little bit of both. That's what I've been seeing, and I think it's. It's actually been really good to see, because you have that, and the young guys, obviously, I think there's natural energy that's going to be coming from them because they're young, and obviously it's the excitement of being here, and then I think there's also energy though that can be driven from some of the veteran players. The flip side, to go to the younger guys and them seeing like. These guys have been doing it for 20-something years, and they're staying out just as long as we are, and they're having just as much, there's just as much competitiveness in practice as there is with us. So it's a little bit. I think it kind of can come from both sides, and that's for me. I guess you come in here, it's like you come in with eyes wide open. You don't necessarily have a expectation of what that'll all look like, but that's what I've seen, from the kind of two ends of it, and then it's everybody in between also making sure that they're pushing that energy and they're pushing the day to day, and so you need everybody pulling on that.
Thanks, Coach.